Hey guys, I know 2 videos in one day, right? Welcome back to the channel. And today is a kind of a video that I feel is really important about something that Carl over at eBayLife pointed out in yesterday's video. I'm going to link his video in the description. I highly recommend checking it out. He does a great job of highlighting kind of like these new eBay marketing program terms that I didn't even know, and I don't see anybody else talking about them. And basically, if you go to your active listings on on the website, there's a little thing that says changes to our marketing terms, and then you can take a look. Now, I was speaking with somebody today, and they don't use promoted listings, so they didn't get that. They don't see these new marketing terms updates. Now, I don't know if they're not there for him because he doesn't use promoted listings, or I don't know. Like, some people might be able to find them there. There was no email that was. Sometimes I know eBay sends out an email when they do certain updates to their terms of service, but there's there's some very disturbing wording and again, Carl highlights some of these, and I'm gonna talk about 2 paragraphs specifically. And the reason why I want to talk about these 2 paragraphs is I then want to share with you the conversation that I had with eBay, because I called them today trying to get more clarification as to what do they mean by these things. So I'm just going to jump right in and read, because just when you thought promoted listings couldn't get any worse, right? I know we all think it can't get any worse. And maybe there's nothing to these updated terms of agreement, maybe terms of service. Maybe they're all like harmless little eBay speak or legalese, and it's nothing to worry about, but it's confusing. And I got the runaround like you wouldn't believe from eBay, trying to get them to explain to me what a few of these sentences means. And yeah, all right. So you can, it's kind of lengthy, but I'm going to focus on 2 paragraphs, and it's a pain in the butt to go in and read these things. And again, you know, if anything, this is even more reason to not have promoted listings in its current capacity. Like, again, if eBay wants more fees, just up the final value fees, just make it flat across the board, simple. Don't mess around with because it gets very convoluted. I'm going to get right into it, and then you'll understand what I mean. So this is I'm going to read you word for word what it says. We may make available certain features or services through which we may help you optimize your participation in the marketing services, for example, by creating or modifying campaigns, setting or modifying ad rates and or budgets, and adding or removing keywords or other targeted parameters. If you elect to use those features or services by informing us in writing or as reflected in your settings via the marketing services, you understand that we may manage your campaigns and take such actions on your behalf without your prior consent, as may be further described by us in writing or in the marketing services. And then it goes on to say, you must ensure that your account credentials are kept secure at all times and not provide access to anyone not authorized. You are solely responsible for all activities associated with your marketing services account, including all changes made to your campaigns, regardless of whether such activities are authorized or undertaken by you, unless we determine in our sole discretion that certain activities on your account is the result of a security breach of our system to which you had not contributed. It is your responsibility to monitor your account to ensure that your campaigns are consistent with your business objectives. Okay, so not so much stuff in that second paragraph, but the first paragraph, I called in eBay and I basically said, I spoke to a customer service rep. She was more or less like a frontline customer service rep. I was trying to get to somebody in the marketing department. She wouldn't transfer me there. So when I first directed her to this, I said to her, I currently use promoted listings standard. I'm at 5.1%. I keep trying to lower it, but I keep ending up going back to 5.1%. And I said, based on what I'm reading here, it sounds like you have the ability to go in and adjust my percentage. And initially, she said yes. And I said, are you sure? I go, you might want to get some clarification on this. And even before that, she was rereading it to me, like that whole paragraph, and she was talking, like she was just talking and talking and talking. And none of it was making sense. None of it was answering the questions that I had, because I basically said, I want to know, can you create and modify campaigns without my consent? Are you adjusting or modifying ad rates and or budgets, the daily budgets that I was trying to be, like, I asked a number of questions. I'm like, okay, if I'm in ad standard, do you have any right to adjust anything? Or is that only to like the dynamics where there is essentially eBay, they give like a daily suggested ad rate, and the removing of the keywords and or targeting parameters, that doesn't really apply to me. I don't do anything with keywords, but I was trying to get them to tell me in what scenarios would eBay do any one of these things. So she put me on hold. She went back and forth, and essentially an hour went by. And within that hour, eventually she came back and she told me, no, they're not going to change the percentage on my ad fee, on my 5.1 promoted listing standard rate. And then I was trying to get clarification as to when eBay would do any of these things. So then she went back and forth. An hour went by. Eventually, she transferred me to somebody else. And it wasn't a supervisor. I literally think she just got tired of talking with me. And she pawned me off on somebody else. I could not, we had a horrible connection. She sounded like she was like, picture two tin cans connected to a string, and like from like two apartment buildings that are close. It literally sounded like she was like that far away. And it also sounded like she was like ruffling papers incessantly. I just couldn't hear. I'm like, okay. I'm like, as much as I didn't want to do this, I was like, can you call me back? And I gave her my number, confirmed that she had it, never heard back from her. And then so I called back in again, started this all over again. And then Maria, she was in the background and she was listening. And she had a question that she wanted to ask them. Because they talk about opting in. Because I was so Maria's question was, is there a place that we have to give our consent for eBay to be able to do some of these things? And initially she said yes. So then the next question that Maria had is, can we not give you approval to do some of these, make some of these changes and these modifications on our behalf without our, can we take those away? And so the lady put us on hold, and then she came back, and meanwhile I had gone into my own promoted listing campaign, because you can click edit. I wanted to see if there was something in there. I don't see anything in there to select or deselect. And then she came back and she goes, well, she's like, if you're if you are opted in to any promoted listings, then you're basically giving them consent, is what they said. And so what she did was she put in a ticket for me to basically not give eBay consent to do these things. Now, I don't know if that's going to do anything or not. I tend to think no, but I'm going to follow up in a couple days. And I guess the whole point of this video is to raise awareness to what Carl had brought up from eBayLife, and to help other people to, not help, but just point it out. It seems the wording is very concerning, and, maybe if enough people call in and are asking for clarification on this, because it's scary, like, to think that eBay could change and modify your campaigns, raise your ad rates without your consent. I mean, now it's our job to, keep track of the ad fees that eBay is taking and make sure that they are taking what we are setting our promoted listings rates at. Like, that just seems like more work than I really want to do. And if they come back and they say that there's no way to kind of opt out of these said terms of agreement, well, then I'm just going to opt out of promoted listings completely. Like, this would be, if they start and maybe it depends on which promoted listings tool you're taking advantage of. Maybe if you're in the standard, there is no adjustments. But if they come back and they say that they have that right to change, that percentage at their discretion, they're helping us. They're helping us optimize our participation. I don't want help. That would be an easy opt out for me, regardless. And I think it should be an opt out for everyone, to be honest with you, because the daily ad rate suggestions are out of control, and they just keep rising. So. Yeah, I don't know. It's a scary language, and the fact that we weren't really sent an email seems sketch. It just kind of was there, and the fact that some people have it and some people don't, it's definitely cause for concern. Let me know if you guys think that I'm blowing this out of proportion, or if there is some cause for concern with the wording of these new terms. I want to touch upon one other thing that happened to me. So I had to call in eBay anyhow. I got an email today, and I found it strange. The title of it is eBay International Shipping is now displayed on your eligible listings. Now, for those of you who don't know, I haven't been in the international shipping program since over the summer. I do not want to be in it. I do not want to be in it because I don't appreciate the fact that we can sell things overseas. Somebody can come to our store and they can buy things, and those items may not be allowed to be sold to those countries. And you can get VROs over them. I mean, the fact, I don't want to open myself up in any way, and I would rather have more control over my own international shipping. But the email that I got is, "Hi Jeff, we're reaching out to let you know that eBay International Shipping is now displayed as an option on your eligible listings, in addition to your current shipping methods. This change introduces a convenient additional shipping option your buyers can select for your international sales and allows you to offer additional shipping alternatives. They'll be able to choose the shipping option that's right for them and pay any applicable import charges at checkout or upon delivery. Please note that the benefits of international eBay International Shipping are only available for both you and your buyer when your buyer opts in during their purchase. If you have any questions, get in touch." Now, the way this was worded, I thought they opted me back into the international shipping program. So I had to call And I just wanted to clarify, and that's not the case. I am not opted back in, but I don't know. Has anybody else out there who's not involved in the shipping program, international shipping program, received this email? I don't really understand why I would have even received this because when I first called in, she's like, yeah, you're in the shipping program. I'm like, are you sure? So then she went and then she looked, she's like, no, I don't think that you are. I'm like, okay, is this going to opt me in? Because the way it sounds, and she was like, no. So I don't know. I don't really understand why I got it. It's confusing. It's just as confusing as the wording, the legalese on the new eBay marketing terms. I just would appreciate if things were not so confusing. So yeah, let me know if anybody else has received that. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of the initial part of this video and the new terms. And do you see anything else in the? I'm sure, Benny. I'm sure you've read it. Actually, I know you read it because you had commented on Carl's video. Yeah, guys. Anyhow, I just wanted to get this out there. Try to get it to a broader audience. Feed that YouTube algorithm. If you think this stuff is important, that all resellers should know. I think it's important. And I just wanted to share with you guys the experience that I had with talking to eBay. It's very difficult to get any kind of straight answers with them, with what they mean by some of these new, I don't know what you want to call them, these new features that eBay can do. They can just randomly up your percentages or change your, make change. They should not. So my goal is to get them to add something so we can opt out of having them be able to make any changes without our authorization. That's what I think the goal should be. I think at the very least, as bad as promoted listings are, as much of a cancer as that whole program is, as much as it makes me feel that we're just being it's extortion. Just if we don't give them enough money, they don't show our items. It's bad enough as is, but now you've got the threat that eBay can just go in and make changes to our campaigns without our consent. That's horrible. So yeah, talk to you guys soon. Have a good evening.